Eagles, welcome back to the Avion. I'm Chloe Kristovich.
And I'm Kyle Navarro. We hope you had a great week and are geared up for another one.
I know I did, and I got all my studying done so I can focus on my shark facts.
You know what, Chloe? Tell me a good shark fact.
Did you know that bull sharks can survive in both saltwater and freshwater?
I did not. Do they live here in Florida?
They do, actually. But anyways, how's your studying been going, Kyle?
It's definitely going. All these eigenvalues and eigenvectors are swimming in my head, but I'm getting it figured out.
You know, I'm not sure I understand that reference, but if you do, that's all that matters.
Speaking of understanding what matters, let's take it over to our weather wizard to bring us the latest weather. Danielle, over to you.
What's going on, Eagles? I'm Danielle Van Pelt. Let's look at the national board, see what's going on. We're seeing the mid-60s all across the country, and as we get closer to the west coast here, we're seeing a big dip, low 50s, high 40s, especially in Boise City over there. But of course, bringing things back down home to the south, Daytona Beach 76, Miami 79, and of course, New Orleans 76. So still in the south, we're still seeing our low to the mid-70s. Right about now, average temperature for today is 76. Of course, this temperature and the feels-like temperature is expected to rise as we progress through the rest of the day. Those feels-like temperatures are well above 80 degrees and especially the lower 90s, so make sure you are staying hydrated. Plenty of sunshine, though. We're not going to be seeing that much rain compared to what we saw last week, but we'll get into that. Do want to point out that our wind is pretty high today, and of course, that feels-like temperature is going to be going up as well. Now for our almanac, a bit of the history of the weather, what we typically see around this time of the season. Our high and low is pretty on par for what we normally see. I do want to point out, though, that the record, 2011, the low was 56. Typically, our lows for around this time of the season are the low to the mid-70s, so big difference there. And of course, in 1956, high record was 95. And our feels-like temperatures don't even reach 95 around this time of the season, so pretty impressive there. Love to look at the history. When it comes to the rain, the moisture, the cloud coverage, lots of it are going to be mostly in the beginning of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. As we get closer to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a little bit of a decrease there. It's mostly just going to be cloud coverage. So big stories. We're not going to be seeing that much rain compared to what we saw last week. When it comes to the rain, mostly going to be those late afternoon nightly showers. Overall picture, highs and lows all across the board. Highs are going to be those mid to the high upper 80s. Our lows pretty on par to the mid to the upper 70s. Don't be scared by all this rain. Pretty low percentages here. But still, it's not going to be as bad as what we saw last week. Of course, that's the big story, right? You've been running through the puddles, having your raincoats on. This week, I would still make sure to be packing those umbrellas. But still, late afternoon showers, nightly showers, stay safe.
Thanks, Danielle. I'm still waiting for that cool weather, but we did get a couple of cool days last week, actually.
Well, Kyle, welcome to the first official weeks of fall in Florida. I don't think it's going to cool down for a while.
You think, having been around here for a couple of years, I would be used to this, but I guess still not quite there.
I'm not really sure it's anything you can get adjusted to. What I can get used to, though, is everything that's going on around campus. Dominic, what's happening this week?
Thanks, Kyle and Chloe, and happy October, Eagles. Despite the warm weather, there are some great fall-themed events going on around campus this week. Starting off the week, the Avion will be hosting a fall-themed photo booth to get us all in the fall spirit. Come over to the Student Union on Wednesday from 10 to 2 to get a bunch of great pictures and memories with all your friends to remember this great time on campus. Keeping with the fall theme, on Tuesday from 12 to 3, the Women in Aviation organization will be hosting a Halloween-themed fundraiser for their conference coming up later this year. This is a great way to help support one of the many student-led organizations on campus. Next up, this Wednesday from 10 to 2, the Counseling Center will be hosting a booth in the Student Union highlighting Mental Health Awareness Month. It is important for all of us Eagles to educate ourselves and to advocate for our needs, especially with the stressful circumstances some of our majors put us in. This is a great way to learn how to. Lastly, this Friday from 5 to 7, there will be a Skyline Social with live music featuring the moon. This is a great way to wrap up a stressful week of classes with some friends, craft beer, and great food. With all that being said, I hope you all have an amazing first week of October, Eagles. Hope to see you at the booth, Kyle and Chloe.
So Kyle, in case you missed the live music at Paint You, you can go to the Skyline Social for some more free live music.
That's right, and I heard they had pretty good food too, just like our athletic events, actually. Let's go back to our not-so-rookie sports reporter, David. Over to you.
David Allgood back at it again with more sports updates here at Embry-Riddle. The men's hockey team went way up north and faced off against Kutztown University in the Lake Placid Tournament Championship. Our Eagles conquered them with an impressive final score of 5-1 to take home the Gold Division Championship. Jaden McBride earns this week's athlete shoutout after leading the women's volleyball team to a victory over Florida Tech in a back-and-forth battle that took place on September 15th. Both men's and women's soccer teams continue to get off to impressive starts, with the women's team taking down Rollins 3-2 and the men beating Georgia Southwestern 2-0. The men's tennis team wrapped up their second open competition this past weekend and looks forward to the ITA Cup on October 12th. And in other news, the MLB is coming to a close as the wildcard races on both sides have heated up for the last push to the playoffs. Star two-way player Shohei Ohtani suffered a season-ending injury that will have an impact on contract offers this offseason. That's just a glimpse into the world of sports as the fall season sweeps across the nation and brings with it the perfect blend of athletic events to follow. I'm David Allgood, and remember, keep sporting on.
Wow, yet again, we have quite the sports update. Both on and off campus, things are really heating up.
Yeah, no doubt, Kyle. There's a lot of really interesting developments happening in sports and back here on campus. So let's go to Salim for some unique information about Embry-Riddle's Makerspace.
Hey there, Eagles. My name is Salim Roig. I'm your university reporter, and with me today is the lovely Professor Juan Granizo.
Thank you, Salim. Yes, I'm Juan Granizo. I work as an assistant professor in the College of Engineering Fundamentals. I've been here since 2017, and ever since I became a professor here in Embry-Riddle, I always strive towards motivating my students to constantly grow their knowledge and their skill sets. This is why I was very motivated when they assigned me as the admin of the space where we are located right now, the ERAU Makerspace, because I see this as a perfect hub to ensure that the students are constantly motivated and they have a hands-on experience, project-based, and the most important, to motivate themselves to constantly grow in the knowledge as well.
Okay, so as you mentioned, we're currently here in Makerspace, as you can tell by all the lovely 3D prints. Now, Professor Granizo, you're the admin of Makerspace, so I'm fairly certain you can tell me what makes this place so unique.
Sure thing, Salim. One of the things that, well, first, I want to clarify that this makerspace kind of differentiates from the regular conventional makerspaces that you will find in other colleges, since our main area of concentration is additive manufacturing. As soon as you walk into this space, you are going to see yourself that is surrounded by 3D printers. So, conventional makerspaces are going to be focusing on many different manufacturing approaches, whereas in our case, our main area of specialization is going to be additive manufacturing. But I feel that at least within Embry-Riddle, what makes this space so special is how open it is for the community to come by, learn about the different technologies, but more than learn, get involved into the different technologies as well as projects that we're currently pursuing here in the makerspace. This is why from the beginning I always envisioned this as the perfect space to spark innovation, spark knowledge, but most important, to spark motivation to constantly learn.
All right, so the Makerspace is mostly known for 3D printing, such as this lovely car we see right here. I was just curious, outside of 3D printing, what other services do you guys provide for campus?
So yes, even though this space is predominant with 3D printers, our services goes beyond that technology. For example, we provide 3D scanning services as well, meaning that if you have an object that is already modeled and you don't necessarily want to remodel it again, you can bring it to us, we can scan it, we can reverse engineer that scan so that you can have a workable model, and so you can import it into your CAD platform. You can perform any modifications that you want to it, and then we can 3D print it as well. Not only that, but at the same time, we also provide many different consulting services. For example, if you have your 3D printer in your dorm and you're having issues, and you don't know if something broke, or you don't know necessarily why your printer is struggling, you can bring your printer to our space, and we have so many different students, technicians within the space that are so knowledgeable about 3D printing that they can help you debug and figure out what is wrong with your 3D printer.
So you're saying that not only do you guys have a lot of 3D printers here, but if I happen to own my personal 3D printer and it's just not working for whatever reason, I can bring it here and you guys can look into it?
Yeah, for sure. We have been helping so many different students throughout these past years who they have brought their 3D printers, and we ended up aiding them throughout the way. And you don't have to be a student. If you're a club and an organization who already own any of the technology within this lab, you're more than welcome to reach out to us, bring your equipment to us, and we can help you and guide you along the process of how you can revive or recover your equipment.
All right, so if you happen to be in a dorm right now and your 3D printer isn't working, this guy to talk to. Now, speaking of dorm-related things, you said you could 3D print objects. So let's say, for example, I have a skateboard and I want to make some modifications to it.
Beautiful.
But I don't have CATIA or SolidWorks back in my dorm. Would it be okay if I were to 3D scan it here and then work on the project here?
Oh, for sure. I guess that you are not the pioneer on that area. I'm really sorry to break that down to you, Salim. But yes, we have been helping a couple of the students with that project. A couple of them wanted to have some additional cover, or you know how you want to tune your skateboard so it looks a little bit cooler and whatnot. We've been helping students for the last 2 years with these projects where they brought their skateboards. We will be scanning the specific area that they would like to modify. We will help them or guide them through the different modifications that they would like to pursue. We have many different computer stations in here that they can utilize. They have the technicians of the lab who can guide them along the process on maybe what CAD modification will work better towards 3D printing eventually. And yes, this is a space to not only model the modifications, we can scan it and give you a workable model. To perform modifications, you have technicians that can guide you along the way, and also to manufacture and make them a real modification that you can attach to your skateboard.
All right. So earlier you mentioned that here's kind of where creativity like thrives. So I was curious with that. Let's say I have this like insane CATIA idea or like SolidWorks idea, but I don't know exactly how to make it work. Could I just come here one day and just tell you guys what the idea is and then work with you guys to make it happen?
For sure. Once again, this space has technicians every single day who happens to be also students. And this is one of the main priorities that I have, that is run by students. I'm just the facilitator to help them succeed as students. And they are going to provide their advice from their experience of many different years that they have with additive manufacturing, so that you can expedite your modifications or clubs.
All right. And could anyone walk into the makerspace or need to make an appointment? How's that process look like?
So we have posted open lab hours that are happening every single day, Monday to Friday. Anybody within the Embry-Riddle community can walk in. You don't need to make any appointment. You don't need to reach us ahead of time. Everybody's welcome along our open lab hours. If you would like to consult with us outside of the open lab hours, then we have an email that you can reach us directly as well.
All right. You hear that here, folks. If you have some creative idea that you want to make possible, this guy and anyone who works here at the Makerspace is the go-to location. My name is Salim Roy. I'm your industry reporter. And Professor Granizo, thank you so much for having us. As always, for more industry stuff, stay tuned to the Avion. And if you have any cool ideas you want to print out, come to the Makerspace.
Thanks, Salim, for an amazing resource here on campus. I'll have to check it out.
That's for sure. The Makerspace is pretty neat, and if you haven't checked it out, you definitely should, and make something happen.
Absolutely. But unfortunately, it seems like we've run out of time for today.
You know, time does fly when you're having fun, or in our case, working. Whatever you want it to be, actually.
That's for sure. And with that, I'm Chloe Kristovich.
I'm Kyle Navarro. Join us next week for another episode of The Avion.